always sunny down in Mexico. The sun gets high when I get low. The only way to get there is to let yourself go. Good times are made in Mexico.
Welcome to another BAI pop-up podcast, Agent Spotlight, one-on-one with Kate Jaworski of KJ Worldwide. Is it KJ Worldwide Travel? I'm still confused about that, Kate.
It's confusing. That'd be my husband's fault. It's KJ Worldwide.
It's KJ Worldwide?
Yeah.
Okay. Not KJ Worldwide Travel.
At this point, it's KJ Worldwide.
What did Joey do?
He modeled it after, like Prestige Worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it came from.
All right.
But then I think the domain was taken for Worldwide, and then that's why it has World Travel. I think there was something like that.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about how long have you been with BAI? Tell us about your start in travel world.
Okay, so I actually started back, and I think in 2017, in preparation to actually do my own wedding. So we got married in 2018, and I was the bride and the agent for my own wedding. It started honestly because of you. I saw that you were a travel agent. We had been friends from back home, and it was something I was always passionate about, and I'd always planned our own trips. So might as well make some money off it at the same time. I had joined a large host agency that didn't really have any type of backup or education platform. So at that point, I was teaching myself most of it. And then when you branched out on your own and started BII, we joined you in 2020 during COVID when everything was locked down.
Yeah, we were actually at the same host agency for a while. And then I went separate ways for a little bit before starting BAI independently in 2020. I remember we both happened to randomly be at El Dorado Royale. I think you were there for vacation. And I was there photographing a wedding. But I remember having lunch with you guys and just kind of chatting about the possibilities, working together in the future and how could that work out. It's crazy to think where things have come.
I know.
They're from.
I am extremely lucky to be where I am at now.
You bring a lot to the table, obviously, as a destination wedding bride. Tell us a little bit about your resort selection. I know you got married at what was Azul Beach Riviera Cancun at the time, now Margaritaville Island Reserve Riviera Cancun. Sorry, I always get confused between the Riviera Maya and the Riviera Cancun. But tell us a little bit about how'd you land on that property?
In hindsight, I landed on it because you recommended it, and that's what happened. I did absolutely no research and had full 100% trust in you.
Oh, all right.
It did work out. Everybody loved it. I loved the resort. Yeah. We didn't want anything too modern, and we knew that it had to be family friendly, but probably only a couple kids were coming. So it was the perfect choice because it wasn't overrun with children. It was more boutique style. It was, I think, more beachy, tropical vibes. And honestly, I loved it, and our guests really liked it too.
Yeah, that has always been one of my favorite properties. I think because of its size. It's such a small boutique property. And I was very nervous when Charisma Hotel said they're going to make it Margaritaville and they're going to shut it down and renovate it. You got married while it was still Azul Beach Riviera Cancun. Once they came in, brought the Margaritaville brand in, I was worried. I was concerned that they were going to take one of my favorite resorts and completely change it. I was surprised to see that they didn't change it that much. You've been there since. What are your thoughts on the changes?
I haven't been there since, actually. I have not. I've only seen the influencers been there and pictures and stuff. It looked like it was refreshed with the Margaritaville type of theming and that type of thing. But our guests really liked it because it's small and it almost felt like it was very intimate for your own wedding. Every time you walked around, you saw somebody that was in your group, but you weren't on top of each other either.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like having your own little private resort. The staff there, they all know you're there.
It was so strange. Every time we walked around, there were random staff members I'd never met before congratulating me on my wedding. And I was like, thank you so much. I've never met you. Right. But it did. It makes
you feel like a celebrity.
It really did. It made me feel like such a VIP that all of these staff members, I guess maybe because it was a smaller resort, is special.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you continued the run, if you will, after your wedding. You stayed in this industry.
I did. I really got going once I joined BAI. But yeah, we're booking trips for ourselves, friends and family, that type of stuff. More FIT, so not groups. And then now obviously we focus more on groups, but just being with BAI and the team it's been so huge for our own business, having the support, which I didn't have prior.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we say it all the time. I don't
amazing.
think people realize that even though you're KJ Worldwide and everybody else, we have 10 different sub-brands that work under the BAI name, brokerage, if you will, that we all work together all the time, that we're on these trips together all the time, that we're sitting in our Discord platform all the time, talking all day, even though we don't work in a physical office together, that we all still very much operate as a team.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, I don't know the answer to everything. I think it's impossible for everybody to know the answer to everything. And plus things constantly are changing. So having a team of like colleagues you can rely on, that if I don't know something, I can ask and then somebody will know the answer. And it's pretty amazing how we all kind of can support each other. And it's not that we don't compete against each other. We're there just to build each other up. And how unique is that, especially in this day and age?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think we have an awesome team.
I mean, we're so awesome. And I'm biased too.
So, yeah, but it works all together for the best interest of our clients.
Totally.
Between all of our teams, somebody is always traveling.
Yep.
We literally every Wednesday at noon, we're having meetings and going over, okay, well, you traveled this week. What was your experience? What was the resort like? What was the good, the bad, the ugly?
Right, because it's impossible for myself or you or for any of us to go to all of the resorts. But if one of our colleagues and coworkers go there, I mean, that's kind of like firsthand experience with pictures and how they liked it and whatnot.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. Well, who is Kate? Like, what do you do in your free time that's not work?
Oh, Lord.
Do you have free time? I'm not sure you do.
Not really. So I am very busy because I have 2 little boys. One's about to be 2, one's about to be 4. I have a husband that is very...
He's also a little boy?
He's
Joey,
a
I love
big
you.
boy. and I have a male dog, so I'm just constantly dealing with a lot of boys in the house. So it's a lot. And I'm just working, except this, I mean, yes, it's work, but it doesn't a lot of times feel like work some of the times because it is fun.
That's why we do what we do, is because it is something we're passionate about. It is something that you have to be passionate about because the level of organization it takes, the level of just knowledge it takes to know all the properties and know constantly what's changing and constantly be traveling and whatnot. It's a lot to keep up with. So awesome. So tell me, what's your favorite part of a destination wedding? You've obviously had yours. You went through that process as a bride. Like, as a bride, what was the most frustrating part and what was the most rewarding part that made you happy?
I mean, by far the most rewarding part is the fact that you get to spend like 3 dedicated days with your friends and family. It literally probably will never happen again in your life. Like, how unique is that? As opposed to like a wedding back home where you get, even though we say 4 hours of a reception, it's not really 4 hours. By the time you're there, you eat dinner, like you're really only hanging out with your friends and family, I don't know, hour and a half. So just having that time is so unique and honestly priceless. Like, it's probably never going to happen again.
That's what I love about, I mean, every destination wedding we do, I'm like, this is going to be a once in a lifetime experience. And unfortunately, I don't get to travel with as many weddings as I used to, as when I was photographing weddings. But you had those pinch me moments at each wedding where you're sitting back and you're like, holy crud, I had a part in putting this all together. And these people will probably never all be together again in their lives, let alone together in paradise in their lives. It truly is a once in a lifetime experience.
It's funny, like, on a call talking to a bride that, of course, they know they want to do a destination wedding. They wouldn't be here unless they did. But trying to explain that to somebody, you can verbally explain it, but you're not really going to truly understand it until it happens. It's great. The most stressful part, honestly, is picking the resort.
Really?
And I tell the brides, this is the most stressful part. Once we find your resort, the rest is downhill and fun. The planning part is fun. Like, that's when you get to pick your flowers and all that kind of stuff. Like, finding the resort can be stressful because honestly, there's so many really good options.
Talking to your brides, what do you think the most important thing to them is when they're deciding on a resort?
Honestly, at least very recently, it's cost for their guests. Because everybody wants to be, especially with, things have gotten really expensive and they want their guests to be able to come. So they need to be cognizant about costs for them. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to come. And obviously, they want them there to celebrate them. So at least recently, that has been the number one driving factor is cost for the guests. They would rather the guests pay less and then they take on more of the financial than anything.
If your bride could splurge on one item for their destination wedding, one thing that you say, hey, this is worth the extra expense, do it. What is it?
Photography, at least in my opinion. That was most
Kate,
important to me.
I mean, you have a photographer for free, so
I worked around your dates, remember? James, when are you available? Because that's when we're going to get married.
So for those of you that don't know, I was a photographer for since 2005, and I shot local weddings and destination weddings. And so for a period of time, I was shooting destination weddings for my clients. And Kate got her wedding, although you were the agent on your wedding. How did we do that? Did you pay?
I think you just hooked. I did pay you. No, I did pay you because you made me bring cash in destination.
I don't even remember. See, okay, so maybe so we went the wrong way there. Sorry, I made you pay, but
You work really hard.
I was shooting weddings for free at the time. Yeah, but that promotion is no longer available because I'm old. My wrist is broken, and I'm broken because I'm old. So, but anyway.
That was the most important thing for me. Like I wanted good pictures that I could look at down the road. I think lighting is really important too. Because I think it sets like an ambiance and then the pictures look better too.
Yeah, I think lighting's so overlooked, I think, by a lot of couples.
It's expensive,
Yeah,
but
it is.
I mean, it's kind of, it's important.
It's definitely expensive, but when we're at a resort and you wake up at 9 a.m. and you go outside and you see they're already starting to set up lighting for the event that starts at 8 o'clock at night and they're out there all day long in this heat and humidity. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why it's so expensive. So it makes sense.
Hence the reason they still charge you a lot of money if you try to bring the lights yourself.
Yeah, because they still got to set it up.
They love to set it
still
up.
gotta set it up.
Right.
So
There's no way to get around it.
I
It
know,
will be expensive.
I know. I know a lot of places they're like, oh, well, they should just leave them in all the time. I wonder why they don't in some places, but I also feel like the majority of they're not meant to be installed permanently. They're not meant to go through all of the weather and the storms and
True. I mean, you take yours down in the winter, right?
we absolutely do.
Right.
Yeah. And each spring when we open up the backyard area and we get that ready to go, I usually have to replace a couple springs too because they're worn out and they're not meant for the elements.
Right.
Only part-time elements. So let's finish it off with one last question here. Okay, so if you had to, I know you got married already and all of that, but you've traveled a lot since you got married. You've seen a lot of other resorts.
Yep.
If you were to get married today, would you choose a different resort? And why?
I mean, we wanted to go adults only, but obviously my niece and nephew were coming, so that was a non-negotiable.
Well, you got kids of your own now, so.
Well, right. My kids, I guess they would have to come.
You might still have to go
I
family
guess.
friendly.
I mean, I love El Dorado Casitas just because it feels more like home there because we've been there multiple times. I think the food is fantastic. It's very tropical and lush and spread out, and that's something I like. I'm not somebody that likes a more modern feel. I did really like Secrets Playa Blanca when we were just there, though. Even this property we're at now, Marval Armony, it's very tropical, and I like that a lot. And the mountains in the background are just stunning.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I love it here.
The properties that have so much vegetation
Yeah.
and are very lush and it kind of feels like a jungle.
Yeah.
Right? I love it.
Love it.
I love it. The more shade we have at a property,
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah, I don't like the ones that are real spread out with no trees.
Yeah. For me, it's like a new development where they go and they cut down every tree and there's no shade anywhere. I'm like, I never want to consider living there. I want big mature trees. I want shade. And it's the same thing I look for in a resort, interestingly enough. So
Well, and then there's different unique areas throughout the resort with different backdrops where you can get your pictures taken. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Kate, thank you so much for joining us. This has been another BAI pop-up podcast, one-on-one agent. Join us next time when we're talking to another BAI agency.
It's always sunny down in Mexico.